in a chat room late at night. Said you were royal, felt so right. Voice so sweet, webcam broke, and I believe every word you spoke.
Hey, yeah. Said you're from Lagos. Love at first ping. Need some crypto, just a small thing. Now my heart is gone and so's my card. Love on the blockchain, babe, that's hard.
Love scam, swipe and cry. Prince of Nigeria, waving goodbye.
Send that cash, delete regret.
You got romance and internet debt.
Welcome to a new InfoSec Theater episode. Today we are recording an episode in English, as you can hear, and we are talking about love scams, or it's also called romance scams. And we are glad to have Julia and Namdi here today as our guests. And I would like to ask you to introduce yourselves by telling us 3 things about yourselves that make you special. I would say ladies first. Julia, would you please start?
Okay, thank you, Meltem, and it's a pleasure to be today in this podcast and this super exciting topic. 3 things which make me special. I'm a group CISO for 11 companies in Germany in one of the oldest private equity. And I think it's already quite special to overlook cybersecurity as women in tech. But also I'm uniting 3 nationalities. I was born in Ukraine, I live in Russia, and now I'm in Germany since 25 years. So please don't ask me about my nationality. And then finally, I'm very much passionate about artificial intelligence and also all the advantages and disadvantages these exciting technologies will bring. So I think that especially the convergence of AI, cyber, and quantum, now I put all the trend words in one sentence, yay, will shape our future in the most unexpected ways.
Thank you. You forgot the blockchain, to be honest.
Oh, blockchain is so
Yeah.
90s, to be honest.
True. Nice to have you here. Namdi, do you want to continue?
Yeah, sure. So, Namdi Azoma. 3 interesting things about me. First of all, let me say it's an honor and pleasure to be here, especially to be part of the first English podcast that you guys have had. So we're about to set the bar really, really high.
Oh, yeah, you will do.
Oh yeah, definitely. So 3 things. I probably will start with my hobbies. So basketball. So I've played basketball since I was about 5 years old. If you saw me, you wouldn't think I'm much of a basketballer because I'm only 6'1". But in the grand scheme of things, I was able to increase my vertical leap to jump even as high as a 6'11" guy. So I was quite a formidable athlete when I was back in uni. And from a career perspective, I mean, Julia, your resume is just that could fill up 5 pages. It's an aspiration, but for me, I'm big on risk. You know, as we've talked about, you've talked about AI and you're passionate about it. I'm more of a pessimist, so I look at things from a different angle. So risk is where I come in. Obviously, I understand the benefit of it, but I always look at risk in everything I do. And thirdly, I love traveling. Traveling is a very, very big thing for me. I don't care how long it'll take me to get there. As long as I get there with my preferred airline, I will go to 3 or 4 different airports to get to the final destination so I can
Really?
I can collect the air miles. Yes. If I'm going to Scotland, sometimes even if it takes me 3 hours to go to Amsterdam to come back to there, I can sometimes do that. But it's just my passion for trying to ensure I get my my miles and my points. But I'm just weird like that. So yeah.
That's a
Thank
fun
you.
one.
Nice to have you here.
Cool. So if we want to talk about love scams or romance scams, Julia, I understood you have some nice story to tell about that. Do you want to
Yes,
start?
indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. It was so exciting. So, in fact, 3 years ago, the whole story started. And to be honest, it started on Instagram. So, in one wonderful Monday, I have received a message from the Crown Prince of Dubai personally contacting me and saying, wow, I have seen your Instagram profile. I totally want to connect. And of course, with my professional curiosity, I said, okay, great. Let's see where it brings me. And this story actually repeats itself since 3 years on different channels. So I get the messages on LinkedIn, on Telegram, on WhatsApp even. And it's always the same Crown Prince of Dubai, but of course, these are all different people. Right? And the story develops in the similar scheme. I have seen you, I immediately fall in love with you, and now I'm gonna marry you. Right? And sometimes it's really nicely done. So some of the messages included like my name written in the desert sand, the flowers with my name, and even the poems, right? And this was even before the time Gen AI was started, because it's already like 1.5 years. Interestingly, of course, at some point, this beautiful romantic story ends with a drama. The Crown Prince is sick. He has lost all his credit cards. He really needs just a tiny amount of 2,000 euro to be transferred immediately to his PayPal so he can be healed, take his private jet to Germany and marry me. Sometimes, in order even to being introduced to his father, he asked for 10,000 for me to participate in his philanthropy project to help poor people and children, from, hunger or whatever great plan he has. Well, obviously, all these beautiful stories are scam. But my professional interest, I wanted to follow them. I have screenshots. So at some point, if you want to create a bigger story on that, I can provide you with this. And what is interesting, sometimes, for example, I found it really creative that they were writing poems. So I took these poems and Googled them. And apparently there are already self-help groups of women who received, of course, the same poem. And you can read in this whole chat, how many females fall through this. Yeah. So my question is, if the Prince of Dubai was really from Dubai, or perhaps he comes from Nigeria.
Yeah, good question.
That sounds like a Netflix film, especially, Julia.
I'm surprised you haven't made anything about that just yet, but that is quite an interesting one, Julia.
Yeah, but it actually sounds like the Nigerian prince as well, right? It's kind of the same type of scam.
Yeah, so the MO, so I forgot to mention, I'm Nigerian, and the MO is quite similar to what we tend to see. If you were to look at this, the fundamental is people who are trying to take advantage and manipulate human beings, be it love scam or be any other kind of scam, but that the loved one tends to hit really, really good, because you can see that as a love bombing. See if you have a group of friends, but basically what this is trying to show them and to understand is you as a person, to see what your vulnerabilities are. And when they realize that vulnerability, you don't have to write it down to say, I am lonely, or I need a man, or I need a partner, or something like that. You don't have to scream that, but certain times, whatever you post out there tends to decrypt that, and then they will use that to their advantage. The sophisticated ones would actually get in a relationship with you. Okay. And they will be the ones that will start with the spending on you, showering you with stuff so they can buy your trust, so that you don't initially see that it's coming as a scam. So you think it's real, thereby you are reducing your guard. So, because you're thinking, well, this person doesn't want anything from me. They're the ones spending this, they're doing this, but it's all a strategic move because it's like a chess game. They are thinking about the next move. They know that they see it as an investment. If they take you out here, they do this for you. probably in the grand scheme of things, probably spend a couple of thousands, but they know that they will get more than that in the long run. So it then starts with they meet you up. You then look at getting you to be the one taking the lead on something, because obviously sometimes you want to go halves or something. It depends. You want to go halves or something, or you find out that, okay, this person has taken the time to spend a lot on me. Let me treat that person. And that's where the ship comes in. And that's where people tend to get sucked in. That ship comes in, you then start from buying them one thing or buying an airplane, plane tickets to this place. Someone in the family is ill. They have to go back to a certain country. They have this investment that's gone in. All starts with small amounts, hundreds of pounds or hundreds of euros here, then racks up to thousands. But again, the very manipulative ones will not make you feel like they are doing anything to manipulate you. When it starts to get really bad is when your savings is gone, and then you start to tap into your credit cards, and then everything starts to crumble. And oftentimes, if you see this in the news or see this from experience, people will say, "Are you serious? How are you so stupid that you didn't see this happening?" But people don't realize manipulation. Okay, manipulation is a very, very big thing because they tap into psychological analysis of that individual, because this individual feels so wrapped in and so trusted in this person that they can't come to comprehend that it is not real. Because that thing which they've longed for so long, they're getting that void from something or from someone who is filling it. As such, they keep on just shoving everything under the carpet to say, oh, this is normal, this is fine, it's just a temporary phase. They will try and convince themselves, and that's the problem. They are digging too deep. By
Yes,
the
and I
time,
think
yeah,
and I think they're actually not only can become very hyper personalized, especially with AI. They are using the so-called dark triad of human psychology. And first component is flattery, and as you mentioned, the love bombing. The second one is blackmailing, and third one is setting somebody under the time pressure. So all these components at some point will be appearing in Love Scam. And it's important just to recognize them. And coming back to spending, I just checked some numbers. So what do you think is an average person who fell, unfortunately, for Love Scam spends and transfers? I would like to hear 3 numbers.
Worldwide or in Europe or in Germany? Where do
Just
you have the numbers
one person worldwide, an average.
In average, I would say $10,000.
I'll probably say
Okay.
20.
20.
I say 5.
Okay, well, actually, it's not that high. It's actually 2,000 per person.
I won.
But
Yeah.
Yay! But it adds up. It adds up to almost 1 billion worldwide in 2023. And in 2023, just to remind ourselves, Gen AI was not that much on the rise as it's now. So now you can scale this kind of cases much faster and I guess easier.
Yeah, we are all in the wrong business if I hear that numbers. So
Well, yes. And interestingly, some people have recognized, and again, some numbers, there are 38% of new romance profiles which were measured by FBA. So we have in 1 year, 1,000 more new players. So Ben, I think we are too late. So
Yeah.
others are faster. There are more than 1,000 of new players just in this year, and which is
Wow.
increased by 14% year to year. And I think this shows that the people are actually falling for it. And Ramdi, I think like what would you give as a recommendation, like how to recognize this kind of scam?
So to recognize it is very interesting because the thing is, how do you differentiate someone with intentions, genuine intentions and fraudulent intentions? It's quite hard, if that person is sophisticated. I mean, the obvious ones like we just talked about, where I'm a Nigerian prince. Like really, I'm gonna come on social media and tell you I am Nigerian prince. No, that boat is scaled. It's long gone. But now it's just different. Again, looking at real life scenarios, yes, you can have relationships. Social media, we're now in an age where social media is a very big thing. It influences us so much because most times it's spent on social media, be it trying to connect, trying to find love. And yeah, people still meet people online. That is still a thing. But would you go in there before meeting someone to try and run a background check on them, on everyone you meet? That again, that's just going to be too much. If you don't even dare mention that to someone because they'll just think, oh, you're a psycho, or you want to invade my privacy. So it's to find that balance. But what is that balance? Again, you have to identify that we live in that age where people want to take advantage. That is it. That's the first thing. You have to know that at the back of your mind. And then secondly, going with caution. I always say, if it feels too good to be true, without sounding cliche, it can, and it is. Does it sound too much all at once? Yes, take a step back. But how do you explain this to someone who, I don't want to use the word, someone who's desperate? Desperation is something that gets played on so much because when someone is so desperate, they want love, they want attention, they will easily give in. But my take is, take a step back. Yes, you want that, but make sure that person is the right person for you. And the moment they start asking for money or they start asking for anything, it might not be financial. Say, send me money for this. It might be, oh, I've missed this. Can you do this for me? In a such period of time, get to know that person. Let your intuition play a huge part, and intuition does play a huge part. So it's a lot in there to comprehend, but it's also something that can help us start to become a bit more aware.
And I
Yes,
think it's sorry.
I think the intuition is definitely a good tool, and definitely if it's something over the top and this love bombing is a red flag. But on the other side, very practical is really just take some of the messages and Google them. And especially if it goes for the poems, etc., you will see that you are not the only one, right? And perhaps this message is already known to millions or thousands of women or male, because actually both genders are targeted. And of course, it goes without saying, do not transfer any money point.
Yeah, I think it would be good to meet the people on personally as well. In reality, if someone refuses to meet you, but he wants money every time or gifts or something, what the fuck? That might be just a bot or someone sitting in Nigeria.
Or yeah, that's true. Or if he or she always had an issue or a personal crisis, like, I got kidnapped, I can't come to meet you in person. So these are also red flags that are shown. Or for example, he refused a video call of FaceTime, whatever. So I think these are also some red flags that will show enough.
Yeah, and even though if you think that person is valid, like Elon Musk, it could be not the real Elon Musk asking you to send him a Bitcoin to give you back 10. So there was something like that 2 years ago on X, right? Now Twitter, but where his account was breached.
Yeah.
And he was asking for Bitcoins.
Yeah, exactly. But actually, I would like to share another very real case. Part of my voluntary work is participating in the Global Council for Responsible AI. And when we had our first inaugural meeting, the organizer or the head of this council has shared her personal story. So she comes from the US, and the son of their friend's family is 16 years old, wonderful athlete, and was a happy child or a young grown-up. So he's playing in the basketball team, and he started getting quite sweet messages on the social media from a girl who has apparently have seen him on one of the matches. And slowly but surely, this digital exchange, grew in some kind of romance. So after 3 months, I need to speak it out. Well, they started sharing nudes. Right. And from these pictures, just a few days later, basically, a deepfake video was generated and shared on the social media channels. So luckily, the mom of this family, she works for FBI, and they tracked the numbers, and they have found out who has fabricated the video. Of course, they took down the video, and they tracked down actually the gang. And apparently this gang was actually using GenAI to generate all the conversations. No conversation was written manually. It had included details, what this person was wearing, which kind of pass this guy did on which game, and how much he scored, and how cute he looked. Everything was generated.
Wow.
And of course, this young adult, he was blackmailed to pay $5,000 to take down the video. He didn't do this. And apparently they found out that this gang was blackmailing 10,000 young adults in the US. And well, I mean, in this case, I think this one person got lucky because they had good connections, right? And then they could go to the ground of the things. But we know that there are first cases of the suicide of the young people, right? For them, social media is so important. And having, very explicit videos of yourself, if they are generated or not, sometimes it just takes time to explain, but the harm is done. So I think we as cyber professionals need to be very attentive that this kind of use cases can be circulating even within the company, right? So as like this sextortion and the employees can be blackmailed to share company data in return of these pictures to being deleted or taken down.
But Julia, how can awareness campaigns deal with the topic sensitively and also effectively?
From my point of view, we need to talk about it.
Uh-huh.
It's such an uncomfortable topic to speak it out, right? I think an employee will not go to CISO when they get a message. We've seen your pictures leaked, and if you press on this link, you can see which ones. Perhaps this message will not even be reported as phishing because people are just feeling shame about it. But this is what helps to speak about it. Do not punish employees for this. Help them support. Tell them about takedown services and take it from the stigma area, because cyber criminals, they are basically benefiting from the fact that we don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. At my former company, actually, one employee, a younger one, got to me and told me, "Hey, I got a strange message. Please, can you look into that? And please don't tell anyone." And she got an email, something like, "Hey, I was doing a video while you've been watching porn. Please give me that and that and that." And I think it was good that she reached out. But on the other hand, I was just thinking about, and if they share that with their parents or someone, what can happen? So the point is, everyone is watching porn. Probably not everyone, but we have to talk about those topics more openly. And they actually really preached her email and Amazon and whatsoever kind of accounts. And they give proof that they have breached that. That was kind of interesting, but they only wanted €50. Where I thought about, what the fuck?
It's too cheap.
Yeah. You have access to the PayPal account. Just send you the money. And it was her password from school time, which she got in the ninth grade, and it had 6 digits. And she told me it's super safe because it was generated in school, and she was using that on all the accounts. So we changed all that kind of things later on. And I don't know how they got onto it. I know how the mail got to the company address, but that's... We need to talk more freely to people, and it does not have to be your CISO. Sorry, Nambi.
How did they get in, just out of curiosity?
Probably just took down some dumps from Have I Been Pawned or something, and just tried. Try your email address and silly combination of passwords. If you use the same password on every account, and how often does LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, whatsoever leak your passwords?
But great that she reached to you.
Yes.
And ask for it and be was so transparent regarding this topic.
Yeah.
But
And
interesting, who's actually behind these scams? Or, for example, these kind of love scams, right? Are there more individuals or really entire networks or gangs, mafias? How would you
there was a huge article on
estimate
that in the Zeit a couple of, I think last year or 2 years ago. And they tried to track down one of those love scammers, and they discovered that it's kind of, there are villages in Nigeria, and sorry for blaming Nigeria for that, but it seems to be a huge industry there where they just do that stuff and they hand over the accounts. If someone is going to go to sleep, then he probably gives up the chat to someone else.
It's like a follow the sun and a handover.
Yes,
It's
full service.
it is rather interesting because yes, unfortunately, some of those do originate from that region, and again, like I mentioned, I look at the psychological analysis of things and try and understand the rationale behind it. What is motivating them? So, Melton, your question is this a group or whatnot? It's the financial motive. They're doing that because they need money for well-being. It could be that, again, I'm not justifying, but again, understanding it. So it could be that people are suffering. It's usually from third world countries, but people
Yeah.
who are suffering, who will do whatever it takes to get that extra bit of cash, and they think, okay, I might just go online and just do this for a couple of hours and get a couple of bucks here. And then if you look at the exchange rate, you're looking at 50 euros. 50 euros is nothing to us here, but 50 euros is a lot of money back there. So these are the kind of things you have to take into consideration. And yes, you're handing over because when you hand over, someone else is coming in to try and see how many people they can get in. So that is all part of what makes it quite hard to change, because what's the government going to do about it? They can track down as much as they can, but the poverty is still there. That motivation for people to try and make quick bucks is still there. So it's just ever ending.
Yeah, and I think if you speak to cyber criminals, and I think there was also a report on that, they said, well, I didn't kill anybody, right? I didn't kill anybody. Nobody was really harmed, and $50 is not that expensive. So they will always explain the actions they were behind with some kind of a positive side. They say, I was feeding my family, I was saving somebody from, somebody is sick, I need to buy medicine. And the people I scammed, they are still there, they are alive, and they have a comfortable life. On the other side, some countries don't have the regulation even to punish this kind of scam. So, for example, like posting a deepfake video, even it will have a serious mental burden on the person who is in this video, cannot be punished in Germany in the way. Yeah, because no physical harm was done, but we have a digital realm. And I think there we need to go a little bit more with the regulation. Regulation. We love regulation in Europe, but at some point we need to see how we can really make this kind of scam a serious crime. And also in terms of deep fakes, of course, things like watermarking, clear labels that some content was generated with AI will help.
Yeah, but you will be easily kind of getting rid of the labels, right?
Well, I think if there is a weapon, there is a weapon again.
Yeah.
Right. So this is this race in arms, in the AI race. But I think for the normal people and without the professionalists and state sponsors, actors, why don't we introduce something like this?
Yeah, I understand that for images and something or videos, I totally agree. But for text, I think it's a big issue, and a lot of those things start on a text basis, right?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
But regarding another topic, I think also most of the other people will think, well, it won't happen to me. But what can everyone do also to protect themselves regarding love scams or romance scams or love bombing. What will be your tips or advice for young women or other vulnerable groups, parents, also grandparents? They are mostly alone, single, and create a account online, for example, how you can say it, dating platform. Do you have a most important advice for protecting your heart and also your account at the same time, right?
Well, I think first is to recognize it can happen to everyone. And there is no one profile which fits them all, because we have seen examples of young women, we can see examples of young men, old women, everything. It's just the message which is being conveyed by the scammers will really be fitting whatever the group it is. And just to be prepared, what we have seen, actually, the executives are being in focus, especially. Right. So I would really recommend even speaking to the executives team and telling them that this can happen. And I think awareness, knowing, and preparedness that actually it can hit you, everyone, is already a great first step. And then, of course, secondly, as we have discussed, if something sounds too good to be true, Namdi, to quote you, discontinue the conversation. Many of the platforms have the function of blocking somebody who is sending you these messages, or at least flagging as suspicious. And we should make use of this functionality. In terms of the enterprise segment, I think the companies should think about their anonymized channel where this kind of things can be reported. And especially important to be it anonymized, because the people who are victims of this kind of scam, they don't feel good about it. They are normally ashamed.
Very good points that you've mentioned, Julia, as to a way for us to identify it. For me, I also will look at this and will advise people that they should treat digital space like real life. Sometimes with it, it's social media, or it's the internet, or it's not. It's there. It's kind of like we put in like a little bubble, you know. Think about in reality. In reality, would you go outside and just meet a stranger that you've just been talking to for 2 days and hand them shitloads of money? No, it's not going to happen. I mean, the amount of times you will see a beggar on the road, most times, as human nature, you will put your guard up. You will quickly wind your glass up. Roll your windows up, because you don't know if that person is genuinely wanting money or coming to harm you. So why is it that when we get to social media, we lose every side of that? Because we're now getting to that realm where digital space isn't giving us that level of scare. So for me, always think about that. Think about the reality. Awareness is very important. Be it from corporate, be it from the news, be it from staying on top of things. You have to be aware that, like Julie said, this can impact anyone. So it's not just gender specific. In fact, I forgot to mention that I didn't fall for it, but I was slightly a victim of this ages ago. But it was a catfish where the person pretended to be a woman to try and get into a relationship with me. This was ages ago. And at first I thought, I don't think you realize I'm Nigerian.
When did you realize it, that this was a catfish?
So I realized this must have been days
What was
after.
the red flag where you thought?
The red flag, like you said, was, I'm like, okay, let's speak on the phone. Oh, there was loads and loads of excuses. This was when I was back in uni. I actually remember this because I was writing my dissertation. Oh, let's speak on the phone. We couldn't do FaceTime then. There was no FaceTime. I mean, we're using We're using,
I
you
can
show my
imagine.
age now. We're using BlackBerry and bloody Nokia back then and all that. So there was no FaceTime. So for the new generation listening to this, you're probably thinking, what the hell is a BlackBerry? But just Google it. So obviously there wasn't that elements of stuff. Back then you go and meet people face to face and then you can
Mm.
make that impression. But now, like I said, people are forgetting and putting that distinction between digital space and real life. So we just have to take a step back again and realize that this digital space, it is dangerous. It is very, very dangerous. You need to stay on alert and make sure you are keeping up to date with what's going on. And like I said, do not be afraid to speak out, because the more people speak out and the more the knowledge is put out there, the more it gets to reach other people so that they don't fall victim for it.
Yeah. Do you think it would be a solution to have a mandatory real name policy for social media? So that before I can register my account at, I don't know, Facebook, whatsoever kind of social media platform, I have to identify myself with a personal ID or something. So
Now you go
get
into
out
the
of the
space of
anonymity.
wait. This is where I come in. Now you go into the space of data privacy.
Why?
What, you want to hold my data so that I can identify myself?
I just want to make sure that you're a real person and that you're right there, that you're Nambi and not Donald Duck.
So how can I can create a fake profile, I can create a fake ID. How does that actually verify that I am who I
Yeah,
am? This ID.
I think we can always do fake things, but I was just asking if it would help or shut down a lot of those scams if we would have kind of a real name policy kind of thing, or real people identification.
And verified profiles. But I
Yeah.
think it's the same process when you do a takedown or try a takedown request, for example, a Facebook or a LinkedIn profile or a Facebook profile. You have to verify with a screenshot of your personal ID, right?
Yeah, that was in Instagram, and that was really a
Okay.
mess. Yeah, back then with a newspaper, you need to hold up newspaper and your ID card.
Yeah, I think the processes, I think that like verification is important, but then again, coming back to the point of Namdi, at certain social media, perhaps you don't want to show your real identity. And that, on the other side, like how deep will you go? You know, like with all the Gen AI, currently, I think you can fake almost all verification processes, even this kind of test, yeah, waving the hand in front of the face, is already not a real test anymore. It's not efficient. So how will we go? Are we going to the iris scan or DNA, whatever, right? So let's not go this rabbit hole. But I think already, if I take my example and in interacting with various princes of Dubai, you can see that sometimes they write in their description 3 million followers. And this is not the number of followers, but the number of organization. Already even small details can bring you to the red flag, right? And then you can really check, okay, how long is this account on the platform? If it was created in this month, big red flag, right? Especially for the people who's supposed to be important. If it's a fresh account, always red flag. Number of followers, if it's just 10 people, I don't think this is also a valid. So you can see already some differentiators. And as you mentioned, meeting with the person is the best idea. However, always tell your family and friends with whom are you meeting.
Oh yeah,
And meet in public.
and where are you going? Tell them where you're going.
Yeah. And in public.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see definitely on these accounts how they are engaging with other profiles. If there are, for example, fake bots on the under the picture or in the comment section, you can definitely see this is a fake profile, right?
But the thing
Not
is,
sure. Never
yeah,
used any of those platforms, so I
won't
would
be
not know
easy
how to
for-
identify a fake bot.
so this is what I was going to. So the general public will not be able to identify this at first glance. So for someone who's more clued up, yes, you can look at that. You know, if I'm on social media, I can look and be like, right, this is just bots versus bots. I've not got time for this. But other people will genuinely think it is. And this now goes into that, again, another section of we're in an age where it's hard to discern reality from what isn't, because the information is just overloading all the time that we don't now take a step back to critically think about what we're seeing out there. You know, it's just from the love scam part. If you go into, again, deeper psychological analysis, we're not thinking critically anymore because the information is we're just getting things done at 100 miles an hour. So we're not taking that time to actually do those checks because we don't have the time anymore. We're not conditioned that way anymore.
Information overload.
That's true. Julia, Ben, I know you have kids. What would your will be your advice for your kids? Are they allowed to have in future when they are older social media platforms or not?
Julia, do you want to start?
No, you go first.
Okay. Not ladies first this time. So, yeah, well, for sure. But before I give them I don't know what kind of account I don't know what will be interesting in 5 years or whenever they will be grown up. So, for example, take it's TikTok or something, then I will get an account first and try to get a bit of an idea of what's going on there. And I think in the first couple of days, weeks, months, years, I don't know, we are going to do that in a guided kind of thing. So use that together, talk about what's happening there. But I think I don't want to be the department of no in this, as I don't want to be the department of no in all of our security kind of things in business.
Well, in terms of my case, I have 2 boys. They love computer games. So let's not only talk about social media, but let's talk about Roblox. And just yesterday, we have received an email from school warning us about the cyber grooming. So what is cyber grooming? There are grown-ups who pretended to be kids or teenagers playing games on Roblox, and with this getting access to kids. And of course, this is an even more serious use case because we're speaking about kids, right? And cyber grooming can end very ugly. What is important, again, the same. It's super uncomfortable topic as parent to talk to your kids about this one. But we need to go through it. This is the only protection. Tell them what is cyber grooming, what are the red flags. The same thing, if the person says they are a 7-year-old guy, right, and you have never ever met them in person, well, perhaps don't meet them in person, don't tell all the details about yourself, etc. So I think the social media, my kids are not allowed to be on social media yet. I will do the same strategy as you mentioned, Ben, start it together. But social media is not only the only, let's say, threat or risk. There are thousands of WhatsApp groups the kids are having already now, at least mine, and you never know who is in this WhatsApp group, silently listening and trying to find out the information or even, start the contact, which is not good enough.
Yeah, we are still having an argument about when my older one is allowed to getting an own mobile phone. So we are discussing about it maybe in the age of 14 or something.
Well, the longer the better, I would say.
Yeah.
The later the better, but I missed the chance. All my kids have phones and therefore WhatsApp groups. And I think before we're speaking about social media, WhatsApp group is actually the next one frontier to educate them. And basically what we do, we actually sit down every 3 months and delete WhatsApp groups they are not participating. Easily just clean up and delete the contacts.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. So WhatsApp hygiene instead of cyber hygiene.
Exactly.
I should do it too. I almost forget it. So it's on my plan.
I will remind you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can you please just generate a report out of the numbers how many groups you are in WhatsApp, and I'll ask you tomorrow how many are left. Please.
Yeah, and how many people? I think if you really sum it together, it could be a huge number.
Yeah. And if you start to use Discord or something for gaming, then it's even getting worse because you don't know anyone there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to the end, Maybe Ben, you would like to ask the question?
I don't care. So, Julia, if cybersecurity would be an animal for you, which animal and why?
It will be an elephant, and I would like to slice it in very tiny pieces. Cybersecurity has so many perspectives, and we need to, improve cybersecurity step by step, every tiny step every day.
I like it. Namdi, what's your take?
Probably say a cheetah, the ability to be fast to respond, and
Okay.
they tend to look and watch on their prey, both on a defensive and attacking point of view.
Really cool one. I think the elephant we had not that often. Cheetah we never had until now.
Yeah. And both are very smart animals. I like it.
Well, it looks like we're setting the boundaries for this your podcast as a lot of
Yes.
first things and first times.
Perfect. It was an amazing episode. Thanks for being there.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
for having
enjoyed
us.
it.
Fun. Thanks
See
a
you
lot.
soon. Bye bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Du liebes Lieschen, und was hab ich gelernt? München und Hanka, die sind mir nicht fern.
A wie Abwehr, jetzt weiß ich Bescheid. Wie Z, wie Zero-Trust für die Sicherheit. Oh, Infosec, Theater. A wie Awareness, Z wie Zero-Trust.
Jetzt wird's klarer.
Mit Wissen und Witz, da bleib ich dabei. Infosec, Theater, sicher und frei.